How do you view the Islamic world, and more specifically, Islam's influence on the United States as our Muslim population increases?
The Muslim population is increasing not only here, but also throughout the world, of course. I think people are confusing the issue of tolerance with weakness. We have a lot more, I think, than people realize in common with people who identify as being Islamic than we would acknowledge. I think most people in most countries, whether they're Islamic or not, would agree they'd like to have a peaceful, stable government and economy. And we're we keep drawing this line in the sand, literally, saying if you cross this is what's going to happen. And people who are Islamic, to some degree, almost operate in the same fashion. If you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. And rather than spending time finding areas of mutual interest and benefit, we seem to keep promoting these violent differences that people like to point out, particularly minorities. So I'd like to see that change and have a greater dialogue, and people actually learn what Islam is. Most people don't know, and a lot of people in Islamic countries don't know what being American is. They look at the supposed democracy we have, not the republic, and wonder why it's not working for us. Why would we want to impose it on somebody else? So I think we have to overcome these misunderstandings between our countries and between our faiths and between our social enterprises.
Okay. Harry?
Yeah, I don't have any problem at all with the Muslim faith as major faiths go. The Muslims in their history, and if you look at the Crusades, etc., were actually much kinder to the civilian populations than the Christians, who massacred everyone. I don't think whether a person calls himself or believes they are a Muslim versus a Christian in this, to me, it's all very ill-defined. I like the world of science and engineering because it's a very precise field. You know if you've got a solid fact or you don't. When you talk about, most people that I talk to who even are Christians haven't really read the Bible, in my view. They know very little, or if anything, about it. And if we did, why would Christmas, which is the biggest holiday on the planet, be around this guy Jesus, who supposedly was throwing the merchants out of the temple, for heaven's sakes? The church for 1,000 years said profit was a sin. Suddenly all that's changed now, and Christians can become millionaires. But, all of this is all very recent. So it's like, whatever you want to believe Christianity is, I have no idea. It sure isn't what Jesus was saying. And by the way, I'm not too much into this love your neighbor and love your enemies and all that anyway. So it's easy for me to say, look, we'll talk about the Muslims. The guy who, the whole head of their faith, I thought, from reading his history, was a pretty fascinating fellow, all in all, and tried to avoid conflicts whenever possible.
Okay.
It isn't always possible.
So since Harry mentioned Christmas, I just want to put in a little aside.
Okay.
As a monk, as a Christian monk, that Christmas is a celebration of the birth of Christ, not the crass commercial secular spectacle it has become in many places.
Right.
I know that's what it should be.
So if anything's a war on Christmas, it's this commercialization that's a war on it, right?
Right.
And what to get who for what present, and the other person's upset they didn't get the right present.
The greatest gift you can give is love, not presents.
Yay!
Yes, sir. I wish that were the case, but geez, last time I checked, that's.
I'm going to give a lot of love this year because I don't have a lot of money.